Mr. Secretary, thank you very much for doing this. So, Turkey has relented. President Erdogan has agreed that Sweden can join NATO. How many F-16s is he going to get for that?
Well, first, Andrea, we're here in Vilnius, and we have an alliance that is stronger. It's bigger, with 2 new members now, Sweden coming on board after Finland. It's more united than it's ever been. And I think you'll see that reflected not only in Turkey's decision to move forward with Sweden's accession, but everything else that's going to flow from the summit.
Do you think now you can overcome resistance in both political parties in Congress should the F-16 sail to Turkey?
Well, these, for us, have always been separate issues. The track of getting Sweden into NATO, now moving forward with Turkey's agreement to move forward. But at the same time, it's been the policy of this administration that Turkey should have the upgraded F-16s, the modernized F-16s. They're a NATO ally, to make sure that all of NATO can work closely together, interoperable. That's the term that we use. It's important that Turkey have this technology.
But now you think Congress should approve it?
Well, again, I'm not going to speak for members of Congress, but it's in the interest of the United States. It's in the interest of the NATO alliance for Turkey to get these planes. It's what we do across the alliance, make sure that all of its members have the technology they need to make the alliance as strong as possible.
You've talked about NATO's unity, but there is disagreement over the cluster munitions, clearly. More than 100 nations have banned them. And we knew that this counteroffensive was coming, and by many reports, it's bogged down. It's difficult. The Russians are, dug in. So why didn't we earlier supply enough conventional munitions so that they would have enough ammunition without resorting to these deadly weapons?
So, Andrea, this comes down to a simple proposition, which is at every step along the way, we've worked to make sure that Ukraine has what it needs when it needs it to deal with the Russian aggression and to pursue the counteroffensive to retake territory. But what's happened is this, and this is why the decision on the cluster munitions. The stockpiles around the world and in Ukraine of the unitary munitions, not the cluster munitions, were running low. They're about to be depleted. And so the hard but necessary choice to give them the cluster munitions amounted to this. If we didn't do it, if we don't do it, then they will run out of ammunition. If they run out of ammunition, they will be defenseless. We've been working very hard to make sure that the productive capacity to make the conventional munitions that they need is being ramped up. But there was going to be a gap between when they ran really low on those munitions and when the new ones were able to come online. These cluster munitions fill the gap, and it's something that is, in this case, is Ukraine using these munitions in defense of its own territory, in defense of its own people, on its own territory. We know they're going to use them very carefully, very deliberately. It's very different than using these munitions for a war of aggression, which Russia has been doing from day one, using cluster munitions against Ukraine from the start of its war.
But we're still seeing the results, the deadly results of these munitions that were used in Southeast Asia during our war there, all those years, decades ago. This is going to last forever now for
already
Ukrainian
the case.
people.
Russia has been using them from day one, and this is something that is going to be an absolute requirement when the Russian aggression ends. That is demining, clearing things up. But that's already the case because of the Russian use of these munitions. And again, it comes down to a very basic proposition, which is in the absence of giving them these munitions, now to make sure that there's not a gap between when their inventories of the existing munitions run out and when new munitions come online. This is what needs to be done. The president said, a hard but necessary decision.
The UK is against it, France, Germany. Are we ceding the moral ground here just because Russia's doing it?
Every ally I've talked to has said they understand why we're doing this when we're doing it.
Let me ask you about the war itself. Is this becoming a frozen conflict? The president said this was a difficult decision, but we're at a critical point with the counteroffensive. It's getting bogged down. Are you concerned that this is going to be an endless war?
No. What we're seeing still is relatively early days in this counteroffensive. This is something that we've said from the beginning was going to play out not just over a matter of weeks, but over a matter of months. And so we see the Ukrainians moving on various lines in the south, in the east. That continues. We've spent a lot of time, others spent a lot of time making sure that they had in hand what they need to do well in this counteroffensive. We fully expect them to do so.
Do you think that the pressure for a negotiated solution is going to increase both at home politically in an election year in the U.S., as well as in Europe, as it gets dragged on and on.
No one wants this war to end sooner than the Ukrainians. They've been on the receiving end of Russia's aggression. But they have to decide when they're at a point when it can end, and it can end in a way that is both just and durable. It's in Ukraine's interest. It's in the interests of countries around the world that this ends in a way that is just, that reflects the basic principles of the UN Charter, that doesn't reward aggression. And at the same time, we want to make sure that when it ends in a durable way, so that Russia doesn't just repeat everything it's done a year later. So this is still going to play out. Ukraine is really still in the first phase of this counteroffensive. Let's see where it goes in the weeks and months ahead.
Let me ask about Vladimir Putin. He's now met with Prigozhin. Are you surprised that he's met with Prigozhin?
You know, watching this, a truly extraordinary thing, as I said before, we were at a place 16 months ago where Russia was on the doorsteps of Kyiv, Ukraine's capital. And now, just a couple of weeks ago, mercenaries of Putin's own making were on the doorsteps of Moscow. I don't think we've seen the last chapter in this drama. The fact that Putin met with Prigozhin, look, it's an internal matter. Putin is clearly trying to work his way through something, but this was a direct challenge to his authority, a direct challenge to the basic premises of the war that he laid out, and I don't think we've seen the last of it.
Well, the fact that they've met and that Prigozhin presumably has survived that, does that indicate something about Putin's weakness? That he needs Prigozhin, needs the Wagner Group to be somehow incorporated into the Russian military, or is concerned about them being on the outside?
It's not something that I can speculate on. What we do know is this. For years, Putin denied any knowledge of Wagner having anything to do with it. Then, of course, he turned around and said, yeah, Wagner works for us. And, of course, not just in Ukraine, but in Syria, in country after country in Africa, everywhere that Wagner's gone, we've seen death, we've seen destruction, we've seen exploitation across the board. It has been a potent force for Russia in Ukraine. So exactly what happens, where it goes, whether it continues to operate alongside the Russian military in Ukraine, that's an open question.